Good morning, my dear students. We were discussing chapter 7, The Kite Maker by Ruskin Bond. We are going to discuss from page number 70, last paragraph. When Mahmud was younger and had fallen sick, everyone in the neighborhood had come to ask after his health. But now, when his days were drawing to a close, no one visited him. Most of his old friends were dead, and his sons had grown up. One was working in a local garage, and the other, who was in Pakistan at the time of partition, had not able to rejoin his relatives. The children who had bought kites from him 10 years ago were now grown men, struggling for a living. They did not have time for the old man and his memories. In this paragraph, Ruskin Bond is trying to draw the changes that happened in the society. He already criticized the nature of society by saying that there are a lot of people in the gully and they do not bother about the neighbors. By these words, the children who had bought kites from Muhammad 10 years ago were now grown men and they are struggling for a living. They did not have time for the old man and his memories. This is also one another criticism about the attitude towards old people. Nowadays, the people are very busy for earning a lot of money and survival. They do not have time to spend with the old people and to recollect some of the memories from the past. They had grown up in a swiftly changing and competitive world, and they looked at the old kite maker and the banyan tree with the same indifference. The meaning of indifference here is lack of caring and concern. The people grown up in a place where the world is very competitive and changing drastically. They looked at the old people and also about the old traditions without care and without concern. Both were taken for grander permanent fixtures that were of no concern to the vacuous, sweating mass of humanity that surrounded them. No longer did people gather under the banyan tree to discuss their problems and their plans. Only in the summer months did a few seek shelter from the fierce sun. Here, the author is trying to say that the kite maker and the banyan tree both are fixed in one place, and both this old man and the old banyan tree did not get any care and love. Old days, normally people will gather under the banyan tree to discuss their problems and to get a solution from the authority and also to discuss their future plans. If you recollect our memories regarding Panchayat system, the people those who gathered to discuss their problems and plans were under a tree. But nowadays, nobody is gathering there. Only during summer months, some will come and sit under the banyan tree in order to escape from the firing sun. But there was the boy, his grandson. It was good that Muhammad's son worked close by, for it gladdened the old man's heart to watch the small boy at playing in the winter sunshine, growing under his eyes like a young and well-nourished sapling, putting forth new leaves each day. Here the author is trying to say that at least Muhammad is happy to see his grandson. He is growing under his eyes. He can watch his play and his developments. That is the only thing which made Mahmud happy. Ali's presence reminded him about his childhood and his prosperous days. There is a great affinity between trees and men. The author is saying that there is a great closeness between trees and men. We grow at much the same pace if we are not hurt or starved or cut down. In our youth we are resplendent creatures, and in our declining years we stoop a little, we remember, we stretch our brittle limbs in the sun, and then, with a sigh, we shed our last leaves. We shed our last leaves stands for taking the last breath. Author is comparing the life of a tree with the life of a man. If we are not hurted, or if we are not cut down or starved, we will grow and flourish in the same place like a tree. In youth, the tree and the man both are glorious creatures. But during the time of last years or old age, both the tree and the man is not being taken care and die and fall. Muhammad was like the banyan. His hands granuled and twisted like the roots of the ancient tree. Ali was like the young mimosa planted at the end of the courtyard. In 2 years, both he and the tree would acquire the strength and confidence of their early youth. The voices in the street grew fainter, and Mahmud wondered if he was going to fall asleep and dream, as he so often did, of a kite so beautiful and powerful that it would resemble the great white bird of the Hindus' Garuda, Vishnu's famous steed. He would like to make a wonderful new kite for little Ali. He had nothing else to leave the boy. He heard Ali's voice in the distance, but did not realize that the boy was calling him. The voice seemed to come from very far away. Ali was at the courtyard door, asking if his mother had as yet returned from the bazaar. When Mahmud did not answer, the boy came forward repeating his question. The sunlight was slanting across the old man's head, and a small white butterfly rested on his flowing beard. Mahmud was silent, and when Ali put his small brown hand on the old man's shoulder, he met with no response. The boy heard a faint sound, like the rubbing of marble in his pocket. Suddenly afraid, Ali turned and moved to the door, and then ran down the street, shouting for his mother. The butterfly left the old man's bird and flew into the mimosa tree, and a sudden gust of wind caught the torn kite and lifted it in the air, carrying it far above the struggling city into the blind blue sky. Here, indirectly, the author is talking about the death of Mahmud. With the death of Mahmud, the memories and the prosperous days when flying kite was an important leisure time also vanished from the earth. The sloping sunlight and white butterfly represent the presence of heaven. A sudden gust of wind took the soul of Mahmud to the hands of God who is sitting in heaven. So the last lines indirectly talks about the death of Mahmud.